start by saying, sorry I couldn't be with you this morning. We had a very important event which was happening here in Victoria Falls. We were launching our 4th round of polio vaccination. As you know, we've had a few cases of polio in surrounding countries, and some of our neighbors, Mozambique and Malawi, and we've decided to revaccinate or scale up our vaccination procedure. That is what we're taking there. Some of you were there. I thank you for respecting my absence during the morning session. But it has been 3 full satisfying days as we were all gathered here to share our experiences, lessons learned, best practices, programmatic and operational challenges. As a family with a common cause to eliminate the 3 zeros, that is 1, 0 sexual gender-based violence and harmful practices, 2, 0 maternal deaths, and 3, 0 unmet need for family planning. We also shared possible evidence-based recommendations as best practices in which others can copy and replicate. Re-emphasizing what His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, stressed the importance of having all countries aligning their national vision and strategic interventions to the achievement of SDGs and Africa Agenda 2063. As we conclude this conference, let us keep on emphasizing what we have learned here and use the knowledge gained for program improvement. This conference was held with the overarching fulfillment of the Nairobi Summit commitments through SSTC by reviewing the gains and gaps in the progress of commitment implementation and future strategies and priority actions to be taken to finish the unfinished ICPD agenda. As we conclude, it is my hope that all the delegates will reach the agreement to further promote SSTC with high-level political guidance on transformative and accelerated actions to ensure effective implementation of the ICPD program of action and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I would like to thank the honorable ministers, deputy ministers, representatives from all 20 countries present here, from the member countries of partners in population and development, and PPD non-member countries, representatives of UN agencies, including United Nations Population Fund and international organizations, representatives of civil society, non-governmental organizations, and the academia who have been gathered here in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe for the past 3 days for the 20th International Interministerial Conference on South-South and Triangular Cooperation in Population and Development, a high-level consultation leading up to ICPD 30. Lastly, I would like to thank the steering committee, organizing and advisory committee for working tirelessly to ensure that this event is a success. I would also like to thank the Elephant Hills Hotel management for hosting us and the entertainment crew. I hope we will all visit the Mosia Tunya before we leave the country. Thank you very much for coming up with the Victoria Falls Declaration, and I hope we will all move towards implementing what we have agreed to do as a group poised to make Africa better. I'll give you back so that some announcement can be made. I don't want to make those announcements because they've been very difficult for me to come up to say who is going for a boat cruise and who is going to go to CRT. But let me say thank you all for your participation. Thank you.
Especially UNFPA, UN Office for South-South Cooperation, representatives of NGOs, civil societies, and academia gathered in this 2-day-long international interministerial conference on South-South and triangular cooperation in population and development. I'm delighted to present our 2-day collective thoughts, knowledge, and experience in a framework of our declaration to be implemented. Emphasis on implemented, not shown, which means we have to walk the talk. Through the strengthening of South-South cooperation, South-South and triangular cooperation. This declaration includes 5 sections. 1. Commitments that are already made during Nairobi Summit of ICPD 25, commitment to achieve the 3 zeros, commitment for ICPD and SDGs. 2. Acknowledge progress and achievements that we have made through South-South and triangular cooperation. 3. Challenges that the world has been facing, including our member countries, such as ongoing conflicts, climate change, aging, migration, and severe socioeconomic disruptions caused by global pandemic COVID-19. Challenges in achieving ICPD and SDGs due to financial, technological, unmet needs for family planning, and supply chain of adequate medical drugs, vaccines, etc. 4. Global perspective, especially leveraging resource mobilization for SSDC, perspective of PPD Secretariat as a focal point for promoting and facilitating South-South and triangular cooperation of PPD Alliance, opportunities for UN funds for South-South cooperation, and similar establishments for funding, including UNFPA and UN other agencies. 3. The action that we must carry on forward from this important gathering as our future commitments. I will not go into details in all the sections, but would like to present 5 actions only that we have already designed based on our collective discussions and consensus among member countries for adopting here this declaration. So the 9 points are: we, the delegates of this interministerial conference, declare our clarion call and commit ourselves to the following actions. 1. Make full efforts to shape the future agenda of ICPD through active participation in the review of implementation of ICPD at the juncture of the 30th anniversary of ICPD Program of Action, and also 30th anniversary of the founding of PPD, for the purpose of assessing the gains and gaps, determining which approach works well and which does not, and formulating future strategies for the remaining years to achieve the ICPD by 2030, bearing in mind the political declaration of the SDG Summit held at the UN headquarters in September 2023, also bearing in mind the potential opportunities and global crises and challenges we are facing. Encourage PPD and its member states to integrate this review process with the mapping of the PPD strategic plan for SSC 2025-2029. 2. Escalate the concerted efforts of the Nairobi Summit commitments of ICPD 25 to translate them into national actions for finishing the unfinished agenda, and take further concrete actions to fulfill this commitment by 2030, with specific emphasis on achieving the 3 zeros for ensuring universal access to sexual and reproductive health and family planning, to reduce unintended pregnancies amongst adolescents, reduce maternal mortalities, particularly in fragile and humanitarian emergency settings, preventing gender-based violence and harmful practices in the dimensions of law and policy enforcement, program implementation, advocacy, community participation, and social supervision, bearing in mind that the pandemic and multiple crises in the world have resulted in the rollback of progress on reproductive health and women's rights in many countries. Accelerate meaningful youth engagement in all decisions that affect their health and well-being. So that
an evaluation system, population data collection and sharing, and other activities in partnership with academia and civil society to study, collect evidence that will help us understand critical population dynamics and trends thereof. Our work of the past 2 days has been captured on the proposed Musiwa Tunya Falls, and I still have to go back to Victoria Falls because some people don't know what we're talking about when we say Musiwa Tunya. We'll get there, we'll get used to it. And the world will have to get used to it too. Our work of the past 2 days already, as I said, has been captured. We will be reading, and we'll be reading the declaration, and I leave that to later. The ability of PPD to mobilize the Global South into conversations like those that we have had over the past 2 days underscores its relevance to the successful implementation of ICPD Program of Action and the Sustainable Goals. Our pledge is to continue and upscale the work, especially the work of Sustainable Development Goals. We should, however, remind ourselves that ultimately, for deliberations like this to be relevant, they should lead to action and change the lives of our people in the cities, in towns, in villages, in farms and small holdings where our people live. We should continue to domesticate international agreements, especially for the benefit of women, children, young people, persons with disabilities, older persons, and generally our broader population, to ensure that no one is left behind. I will now request Dr. Letitia Adelaide Apia, the PPD board member of the Republic of Ghana, to deliver the Victoria Falls Declaration. Over to you, my sister.